the 5 worst songs in our opinion on the Spotify Billions Club. And we talked about why we would pick the songs we picked to be in our top fives, but what made a song in your bottom five and listening through? Because obviously all these songs in some way are, like okay songs. Like they're beloved if they've gotten this many
Oh yeah.
streams.
Yeah, I think that's important to note too. All of these songs are popular. All of these songs are well liked by a large swath of people.
Right.
So when you establish that, then you have to determine, okay, what songs do I actually think are bad? I like tons of bad songs. I
Yeah.
think it's important to be able to criticize something that you enjoy. And that's what I'm doing for these. Now, these are songs I do not enjoy, but many people do. And that's totally fine. Like I said, I like bad stuff. We all do.
Yeah.
It's okay. But there are some stinkers on the Spotify Billions Club. There are songs with a billion plus streams on Spotify that suck.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it goes. That's how music has always been. And now it's just very easy to determine this when you have a conveniently created playlist like the Billions Club by Spotify.
I think for me, you were kind of just talking about it, the idea of like creating an earworm. And I think for me, it's the songs that were like crafted specifically to just be an earworm, that I found myself rejecting more. I also found myself just kind of gravitating towards artists. And now that it's funny, I'm looking this over. I think all the artists I picked are men, funny enough, um, that I just really found to be they're like kind of like
Me too.
weak. Yeah. Or I found to be kind of just soft or like insincere, maybe. Um, but I definitely found myself going through and almost being like, ugh, and like skipping past like once I hear it. And, everybody has those songs they hear. They're just like, ugh, but when those songs become the earworms that some of these did, it's not so fun. I went second last time, so I'll start off with mine. My number five is from our guy Sean Mendez. There's nothing holding me back. Oh man, I just do not like this song. And there's a bunch of Sean Mendes songs on this playlist,
Yeah.
but
Senorita.
this was probably the one that like I immediately just like skipped. I think I got like 3 notes in and I like
Wow.
verified the song. And I was like, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me.
Interesting.
Our guy Mendes just not in my favorite, but yeah,
I'll be
it's
honest, that's like one of my favorite Shawn Mendes songs, relatively speaking.
Dave. This
There's
might
other songs I
surprise you.
dislike way more.
This might surprise you, but I don't really listen to Shawn Mendes all that much. So maybe this
And
is just the
right.
embodiment of my dislike for him. I don't know.
His stands are going to give you stitches soon. Be careful.
I actually don't mind Stitches. So if that was on here, I definitely wouldn't have put it on my bottom five. But yeah, there's nothing holding me back. It's my number one, my number five on
Uh-huh.
the Billions Club worst. What's your number five?
Yeah, we'll go with I don't really rank these too well. We'll go with Little Mosey's Blueberry Fago.
I
This
knew
is
you were gonna pick this one.
yeah, this is honestly one of the most egregious like TikTok hits on here. TikTok doesn't necessarily guarantee you a billion streams or even 500 million streams. It takes a lot more than that. But for whatever reason, Blueberry Fago exploded on TikTok in, I want to say, like mid 2020 and just really continued on. It's far from his best song, but Little Mosey himself is a pretty uninspiring rapper, doesn't have good lyrics, doesn't even rap that well. He's just made a few melodic, catchy songs. I don't find this one that catchy. I don't understand why so many people do because it's one thing to enjoy the TikTok trend, but like you still have to actively want to listen to the song normally too, and I just don't understand the appeal of this one at all.
Well, I saw it come up. I was like, this would be in my bottom five, but I know Dave's gonna get to this one, so I left it off. But yeah, it was also a song. I was like, not great. Kind of sticking in the same vein as my last pick. We're staying in the rock realm for I think all of these in a sense. Thunder by Imagine Dragons, my
Let's
number
go.
four. Man, you talk about just like making the most generic, basic pop rock song
Right.
with like the least inspired lyrics, and just having that song.
Hardly radioactive.
Well, and then just having that song be on every single commercial and played at all these like sporting events. It's like, ooh, this is really like a bad sign for the rock uh
Yeah.
genre that this was like the biggest rock song of like the 2010s in a way, probably like
Uh,
numbers wise.
yeah, I mean, Imagine Dragons is
One of the
perhaps
most.
the biggest rock band right now. They do
Yeah,
arenas every time they tour. Like, and
it's
they have
crazy.
numerous songs on this playlist, many contenders. I think an Imagine Dragons song had to be on one of our lists just because I think they're a largely terrible group.
Yeah, it's funny. Nickelback in a lot of ways I think has like come back around, but
Oh,
the
they're
way that
so much better than
Nickelback.
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, but the way that they were perceived in like the
Yes,
2000s
very
was like
similar.
Nickelback, like oh, this like wannabe Canadian rock group, and like they make these like terrible like pop songs that are just for the radio. Imagine Dragons like ramped that up tenfold, and I think that's kind of how they're viewed by most people, but still enjoyed by a lot of people, and that's why they're on this list. So good for them. Keep cashing those checks, boys. What's your number four, Dave?
Yeah, number four for me would be Maps by Maroon 5.
Man, I have Maroon 5 coming up next.
Yeah, what's yours? Let's do it now.
What Lovers Do by Maroon 5.
So there are several Maroon 5 songs
Yes.
on Billions Club, and the majority of them are newer Maroon 5 songs. After like 2007, Maroon 5 has not contributed anything interesting with their music, which is actually quite disappointing because Songs About Jane is pretty great. And
Great album.
they're just a completely unrecognizable, terrible group now. It's really just a vehicle for Adam Levine, and Adam Levine is checked out long ago.
Mhm.
Which, good for him. That guy's rich as hell, just kind of doing his thing because people are still running up his songs. But God, I think these songs have sucked for a while now. And yeah, I just picked Maps, but you could have picked a few of them here, such as you did.
Yeah, I think the reason I chose What Lovers Do over Maps is What Lovers Do is quite literally unrecognizable as a rock song. And I know a
Mm,
lot of Maroon 5 is like just pop straightforward now, but they always try to keep something. And Maps at least has some like guitars in it and some
yeah, that's a
energy.
good point.
What Lovers Do is like, oh my god! And the fact SZA is on this and she stooped down to this for this like obvious, just like grab, like notoriety grab is like so so demoralizing to me because I consider her such a better artist than Maroon 5. Um, yeah, it's just like the most basic like Kygo
Hmm.
bullshit song ever, and it's like you barely ever get any kind of energy throughout the song. It's very sparse, and yeah, when SZA can't even come on and like give you a verse to like make the song somewhat enjoyable, it just is total shit to me. So that's my number three, Dave. What's yours?
Yeah, so you mentioned Kygo. I didn't pick Kygo. I think he only has one with a billion,
Hmm.
which is the Selena song, It Ain't Me, which
Yeah,
I think is probably one of his better songs. I probably wouldn't have picked that anyway. But I did pick a other largely maligned EDM group,
Marshmallow,
not Marshmello, who I consider
chain
they are
smokers.
in my dishonorable mentions because there are many Marshmello songs on Billions Club
Many.
as well. Again, take your pick because Marshmello is a very dull artist,
Mhm.
always has been. But I picked the Chainsmokers, who I think they're just a tad more famous than
Yep.
Marshmello, and that's why I wanted to pick them because not that I necessarily I don't loathe Closer or something just like this. I've just accepted the fact that I find those songs very catchy, but I've never been impressed with their production.
Hmm.
I think they've always just been very basic and boring. And a song like "Don't Let Me Down," which is my choice here, has
Terrible.
1.5, almost 1.6 billion streams, and that's a song where the vocals from Daya kind of do all the work, but the beat from the Chainsmokers is so lifeless and almost non-existent. It's like two chords, and I just don't get why people like a song like that so much. I get why Closer and something just like this are hits. We've been over that, but like this song, "Don't Let Me Down," is just like this is kind of like to me everything that's been wrong with the Chainsmokers and why they've been kind of critically derided for their entire run is
Yeah.
that there's almost like no goals with the music they're actually producing.
Yeah, it's the most bland pop like EDM bullshit. And I do like Roses. That's a song that I'll play back sometimes. But yeah, most of their stuff is just like why would put yourself through that? There's so many more interesting artists. Even Kygo, who I think
Yeah.
has become mostly famous for, I think, in my opinion, remixing older songs and just kind of like playing off that. Like I think his Whitney Houston remix of "Higher Love"
Mhm.
is actually pretty great. Um, I think he at least like tries stuff and like tries to like liven things up sometimes. Like chain smokers, like you said, are pretty like just like aimless. And I remember the last time I remember thinking about them was when they got all the hate for doing the shows during COVID out in Montauk
Mhm.
for like the super wealthy elite. So that's just
Yep.
says everything you need to know about them and probably the people who were at that show.
Yeah.
Anyways, I doubt that they listen to this, so I feel safe saying that. My number two, Dave, someone we've talked about on the podcast quite a bit, and that's Ed Sheeran. And I picked the song "Perfect" from Ed Sheeran because,
Wow.
man, I just really hate that song. If it comes on, I skip. We had one artist at our wedding who was just banned from playing any of their songs, and that was Ed Sheeran. And
Wow.
we made sure we made our DJ know that he's just not an artist that I really enjoy listening to. And Perfect, when you talk about the soft Ed Sheeran songs, not even one of the better soft Ed Sheeran songs in my opinion. It's super sappy,
Yeah.
um, purely going for the like emotional play. And I think if you want to listen to Ed Sheeran and you really need to get your ginger fix, um, go for like Shivers or like Shape of You or something. Don't go for
Right.
Perfect. Just so bad.
Yeah. So Ed notably is has the most entries with a billion streams on Spotify. I believe it's like 7 or 8. And as you mentioned,
Mhm.
uh, perfect, your choice there. The 11th most streamed song on Spotify,
Yep.
2.15 billion. Shape of You, of course, famously number one for now, 3.2. I feel like Blinding Lights is gonna get there soon. But yeah, there's a bunch of other Ed songs on there. I think songs that are a lot more interesting and better, like Galway Girl, for
Right.
example, or Thinking Out Loud. I think is on there too.
I
Like
was gonna
there
say,
there are way better songs on there. It's just funny that like no matter what song Ed makes, whether it's actually good or it's like super dull,
mhm,
all of them get
just
consumed
do
rapidly.
numbers.
That's why
Yeah.
that's why he is as big as he is.
Yeah, he's Wonder Bread. It's not interesting, but everybody listens to it, unfortunately. Yeah, if you're gonna go for this like type of Ed song, like you said, Thinking Out Loud would be the one that I would say transition to. Don't listen to
Hmm.
this. So, Dave, we're up to our number ones.
Actually, I have my number
Oh,
two.
you're at number two. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's your number two?
Number two for me, someone who we've denigrated on this podcast before, and that would be Pillow Talk by Zane. Zane Malik,
uh,
the first One Directioner to go solo. Never
I
been
didn't I
as
didn't feel safe to do this with all the Zane haters out there, or Zane stands. I guess they're haters of
yeah.
us.
No, I just very simply, I've just never been a fan of Zane's vocals. I think he's rather dull, rather aimless with his performance. And he had another song that you could have picked. It's the Sia song off Icarus Falls. But I feel like Pillow Talk, which is the debut single, for me, it kind of captures everything there is about Zayn in a negative way, which is that it's just often like super dull, often way overproduced, but like the performance itself never does a lot for me. You know, the Taylor
Yeah, no.
song from 50 Shades is also up there. I like that song way more than this, for example.
I don't
Um,
wanna live forever.
exactly.
Fucking awesome song.
Yeah. Sorry, Zane.
Yeah. We don't dislike Zayn. We just
Oh, but I
aren't
just
into
don't
his
like the
music.
music is all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Whatever.
yeah, that one stood out to me as one I skipped pretty quickly too. All right, we're on to our number ones, and anyone that listens to our end of year list podcast knows that I do this move quite frequently. I have two for this one. I couldn't not give it to both of them,
That's
Dave. And
true negative passion right there.
and that would be Justin Timberlake for "Can't Stop the Feeling" and "Happy" by Pharrell.
Wow.
These two
Nice.
songs are just the epitome of like everything that's wrong with like earworm music. They have no substance to them. They give literally the most annoying energy. They are like the real life embodiment of that "Everything Is Awesome" song from the Lego Movie, and
Oh
that
yeah.
song is even better than these. Way more palatable. Just totally bland nothingness. The worst that pop has to offer is these songs, and they are some of the most beloved songs. I get it, kids can listen to them. They're very like down the middle, cookie cutter, safe songs. But
Mm.
man, if you like if you literally are like starting your
Both
day,
soundtrack songs too, right?
they are, yes, I believe they are both soundtrack
Despicable
songs.
Me and Trolls.
Yes. But man, if you are starting your day and you're not doing this just because you're like, I am like so depressed, I need anything to pick me up. I know these songs are like designed to try to pick you up. If you're just like putting this on, 'cause you're like, man, I really love these songs. it- get yourself help. Like,
You can do better.
yeah, you like go talk to somebody. You know, there's help out there for
Right.
this. Go check
I
out our
think
Nostalgia Best of 2022 playlist.
I think there's also they're great picks because Pharrell and Justin Timberlake are so much better than that,
Oh yeah.
and they've done it before. Especially Pharrell, very very intriguing, celebrated, multifaceted artist for such a long time. And
Hmm.
Justin Timberlake, his early solo career, it has a lot of merit to it, obviously, and there's popular songs to them too. These songs are just very craven, bland songs. Really, anyone
Yep.
could have written and made. Way
Yep.
way way beneath them.
What's your number one, Dave?
My number one is "Hot Girl Bummer" by Black Bear. I
I didn't
can't
even think
believe
this one like would even be mentioned. I'm so
I
surprised by
can't
this.
believe this song has a million streams. Black Bear is an artist that has had serious issues with him for a long time.
Hmm.
He was someone who came up with rock, then very obviously shifted to hip hop production because he could get away with it as a white guy. And now he's conveniently shifting back to rock because now it's popular again. But Hot Girl Bummer is perhaps the most cowardly thing he's ever made because he just blatantly ripped off Hot Girl Summer meme from Megan Thee Stallion in 20, was it 1920, and he makes this song which I just don't get the appeal of it at all. And yeah, when I saw that on there I was like, wow, that's a very obvious pick to me. I can't ignore it.
I'm happy for you that it was so easy. I think I honestly did just ignore it because I don't even remember seeing this on the list. But yeah, that's a clear number one. I don't blame you for picking that. Give me a couple other ones that were in contention for your bottom five.
Yeah, so when we mentioned Marshmello, I think
Yep.
contenders there. There's other Maroon 5 songs contenders there. um I'm not a fan of SXN's Tentacion. He's got a few on here. We'll leave it at
Yeah.
that. Other Ed songs, as we mentioned. I feel like we covered a good amount of ground here. Um, then I feel like of course, we covered Imagine Dragons. Again, a lot to pick from there.
Hmm.
Did anything else really stood out to you as like you already
Yes.
did Shawn Mendes. To me, Senorita is a song I've never understood. That's number 9 all time. That one that never makes sense made sense to me. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
What else stood out to you
For me,
negatively?
it was most. Yeah, I so you mentioned a lot of them. I had a Marshmallow song originally in my top five, and then I switched it out. "Cake by the Ocean" by DNCE is another one of
Yeah,
those like
Joe
very
Jonas.
upbeat, yeah, like pop songs I just never got the appeal of, and it's just total like bullshit. But Post Malone had a
Yep.
few on here that I was
Hmm.
like, really, like, really? I don't know. I mean, I don't mind like circles, but Rockstar, like congratulations, like I don't know, really a billion plays for these. But Post Malone, another one of those guys who just has so many fans, and it's just,
Right.
uh, yeah, a lot of his songs get up there. So
People don't want to hear this, but one of my least favorite songs on this playlist is "Watermelon Sugar" by Harry Styles.
mm. Well,
Never liked it. Never liked the writing.
Sign of the Times was on there too, and I was like, yeah, really a billion? I don't know. That didn't deserve a billion for me, but again, let us know your thoughts on this because there's so many
Right.
songs to choose from. So drop your thoughts on below or hit us up at Nostalgia Pod on Twitter.